there's only a handful of people that can actually beat Future in a hit for hit versus. Now, can you out rap him? Yeah, for sure.
Can you out bang him?
Man, I was
Tough.
I was catching all kind of heat when I said the Future would beat Drake in a versus. And I believe that. Maybe I'm just, you know what I'm saying, Atlanta bias in that way.
It is an Atlanta bias, and it also depends where that takes place.
Exactly. And it depends on what records you play, too. You know,
sure.
Drake got a lot of records.
Drake can't play Future records, though. That's the thing. If they were to do that, Drake can't play the Future
Drake
records.
got records, though, bro. Like, Drake is one of my favorite rappers, and I catch flack all the time about that. But
Nah,
Well, you
music is-
sing and you rap starting off, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with. And beyond that, like, I'm a fan of longevity.
Yeah.
No matter how you got there. Now, mind you, I'm a diehard Pac fan.
Me too.
Tupac to the core.
Me
We
too.
are too.
Yeah, we're hardcore.
And so, but I'm also like not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm always a person that's thinking, you know, I love doing the what ifs, right? Of like, well, if this person was alive, or if this person, woo. And I think when you cut people short early on, they don't get to fumble in a lot of ways, right? So think about this. You kill Lil Wayne right after Carter 3, everybody says Lil Wayne is the greatest thing that ever happened to hip hop.
Yeah.
Because at that point, Wayne was doing this. The dedication CDs are coming out. He's murking freestyles.
pretty big.
That album comes out, does the numbers that it does. If Wayne dies a week later, everybody's like, oh my God, he is God's gift to rap.
Well, that's what younger people think about Biggie. You know,
I was just about to say
Well,
that.
yeah.
We've
it's the
had
same
that
thing.
conversation
So-
on our show.
But the reason I give the crown to Jay is longevity. Jay has had to live through the eras of hip hop as music has changed, and he's been able to sustain and be who he is throughout. I always wonder what happens when Biggie has to do the Down South record with Future.
well, hold on.
Auto tune. Everybody's like, "Oh man, fuck Biggie. He trying to."
No,
Jay had to go through. Jay had to sift through the crunk era, the snap era, every era that Atlanta ushered in.
Correct.
Jay had to sit there and be Jay through all of that.
I came to this show
So-
with your same sentiments
Hold
until
on.
Nas went on this run. And
Hold on.
what Nas is doing right now, he's ahead of Jay, in my opinion.
Nas bores me though, so y'all can't tell me about Nas.
That's
Okay.
what Mike used to say when we used to argue about it, because he used to be a Jay guy too. But before we even
I
touch the
still am.
Nas thing, I actually want to touch the Big thing though. I think with Big, it's because like for me, you know how you play the what if game?
Right.
My what if with Jay always is, well, that doesn't happen if Big is here, because Big does everything that Jay does except for he does it better. What
think
do you
Jay
say to
would've
that?
figured it out.
I think the only thing I think Jay is better lyrically than Big, just bar for bar, lyrically speaking. Like Jay came in the game saying stuff like, "Nigga, please, like short sleeves, I bear arms."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Big talk game's not like that on Ready to Die. So I think Jay is lyrically better, but everything else is Big to me. Voice,
I
delivery,
think the
flow,
opposite.
storytelling.
I think Big is the better lyricist. I think Jay, it's the intangibles, like you mentioned earlier. It's the other shit. You know, like Jay.
He's got an aura.
Jay has an aura about him, and especially like Blueprint and Beyond Jay is like, nah, dude, different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
something
Yeah.
about him.
He moved different. He thinks
He
different.
moves differently. He thinks differently. The bars are clever. I think Biggie's delivery was hell. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm also not a Ready to Die fan. I'm a Life After Death fan. I
think they're comparable.
So, let me
I
give
think
you
they're
all
comparable.
I'm gonna give you all my hip hop hot takes. I hate Illmatic. I hate Reasonable Doubt. I hate Ready to Die. Like, I don't like any of those albums.
Really?
No,
Why-
no.
why
Pause.
exactly?
Hold
You know
on,
what?
You're gonna have to explain
the
that.
one New York album that I love is like Enter the 36 Chambers. Like, I love
We
that.
all
album.
love that.
We all.
Absolutely.
That's
I
everybody.
love
that's
that
not-
album. But as an Atlanta kid, I shouldn't like that.
Everybody
album.
likes
I love
no,
that
no, no.
album.
Yeah, I
Everybody
got
fucks with
picked
Wu-Tang.
on for that,
love
too.
that album.
No, everybody fucks with Wu-Tang.
But Reasonable Doubt I didn't love. I love a few records, but I don't love it as a project.
Was it
Illmatic I don't care about at all.
Was it relatability?
Yeah,
Or-
I mean, mind you, I'm young. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
15, 16 or whatever when it comes out. From Atlanta, so none of the themes are really hitting me in that way, other than like the slick wordplay of the production, right? So
Okay.
like Dead Presidents I love, Imaginary Players I love. It's certain records that I fuck with. Ain't No Nigga was cool, you know, but I don't love Reasonable Doubt. Ready to Die was very like grimy to me. But
It
the
is.
remixes I loved. I love
It
One More
is.
Chance. The
Yeah.
remix.
Yeah.
I love, you know, like a lot of the more mainstream
The
records.
Big Papa remix was pretty smooth too.
Juicy, I
Yeah.
loved, but those album cuts don't do anything for me.
Because you can't relate.
They do nothing for me.
Is it the Sonics? Is it the beats?
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. I mean, like I'm from Atlanta. I want to hear bass. I want to hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to dance to it. And those early New York records were very lyrical. The content was real heavy.
Yeah.
And that wasn't my bag at the time. Now I'm listening, which is why I love a Sci-Hi, I love a Freddie Gibbs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love
But when you
Gibbs.
go back to those albums as an adult, like, do
Imaginary
they sound
Players
better?
is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be my
As an
favorite J
adult,
record.
Imaginary Players is slick.
Yeah.
Like he talking cash.
That's
shit.
conversational,
So hold on.
Jay.
So I was telling people that when I heard Imaginary Players, he was talking about shit that I didn't understand until I was older. Like, like when he was saying, if there ain't no manicures on board, then switch your planes. I'm like, you can get a manicure on a plane,
Right.
nigga?
Hey man.
That was
Jay talking crazy on
That's
that record,
crazy talk.
I didn't get into Jay for real until volume
That's 97
2 or 3, and then I went back and listened to Reasonable Doubt, like, yo, this nigga's killing it.
Yeah.
And now, right now, I would say Reasonable Doubt's my favorite Jay album, or it's his best album. But when it hit at the time, like you said, it was too young, kind of went over my head.
Prior to Blueprint, I'm a casual Jay listener, right? I'm like, I've heard the Hard Night Life, I've heard the records. Blueprint was the one that stuck with me. I think it might have just been timing. At that time, it was one of the last jobs I had before I was fully in the music industry. I was working at this factory right over here off Jimmy Carter. And I remember, we used to work the night shift. So we used to run these machines. And if you got the machine going and you was lucky, that thing would run your whole shift. So you could start the machine and just kick back for 8 hours and just kick it. So we just have headphones on, just listening to music for the most time. And Blueprint dropped. And I remember having the little Discman. A burnt version. It was a bootleg copy of Blueprint, and I remember sending the job like, "This is the most amazing shit I've ever heard." Kanye's production, Jay's lyrics, and I'm just like, "Yeah, he's the greatest." Like overnight, I literally, like that was like Jay-Z is the one.
What song made that click for you, or is it just like an overall feel of the album that made you?
The entire feel of the album, but I think "Girls, Girls, Girls," the way he was flipping it from verse to verse, and he was just naming the type of girls he'd have. I thought that was real slick.
Mike think he wrote that.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
Mike thinks he wrote that.
The way that song is structured, for him to come off the top, it's like, that's incredible.
I think he actually didn't write it. I think it's one of his greater feats, actually, that nobody talks
That
about.
shit is amazing.
It
but
is.
lyrical exercise.
That's my
People
shit.
love lyrical exercise.
That's my shit.
And
Well,
he's
I say you
bring
don't
your
know
squad,
it's his
I
biceps,
spar in the
squad.
graveyard.
We don't
struggle with undeveloped muscles.
I'm like, hey, man.
Y'all ain't real. That's y'all Achilles heel.
I said, yo, he tripping on this.
No,
Yeah.
he spazzed on that.
Yeah,
I can't even front. That was a
nah,
moment
Jay-
for me
Jay
where I
was different.
realized,
And from then on, I was like, Jay.
I think that You Don't Know is his best song, period. I think that Heart of the City is a top 3
Heart of the
Jay
City is
song.
amazing. Yeah.
See, that's
What You Eat
funny.
Don't Make Me Shit is the best line on the whole album to me.
Yeah.
You little fuck, I got money stacks bigger than you.
Yeah.
And even though I love Prodigy, I'm a big Prodigy
See,
Mobb
I
Deep
wasn't a
fan.
Mobb Deep fan either, so when he's
Right.
talking shit to them, I was like, great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm all with it.
Right.
He
I was a
dogging
big
Nas, I'm like, yes.
I was a big
more.
Prodigy fan. And I'm a big Prodigy fan. I'm a big Nas fan. But the you little fuck, I got money stacks bigger than you. I was like, that's just
Yeah.
ruthless. I was
Yeah.
like, you can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, no, he was talking like
He was talking crazy.
little broing.
But I think
Sure.
his best 3 records are Imaginary Player. I'm with you on Imaginary Player.
It's top 5 to me, too.
Dead Presidents and You Don't Know are probably the 3 best. But I'm with you. Lyrical Exercise was the record where I was like, okay, this nigga different. Like real
Easy.
different.
Yeah. Well, since we
It was the
talking
way he
about
was even breathing on the track. I was like,
Yeah.
you know how hard it is to even like breathe on the track like that and kind of do it rhythmically? It's like, oh no. I was like, okay, he's super, super nice.